My name is Bond. I Bond. Hope you enjoyed my awful English accent, British accent, and you're digging the garb here, the get up. Want to make a little fun and put an update out for you regarding the Series I savings bonds. We put a video out back at the end of April of this year, kind of giving you a rundown. Feel free to go back and look at that. That's going to be a little bit more detail on how I bonds work. The goal today is just to give you an update. But big thing happened November 1st, the interest rate change. We're going to talk about that here in a second. Really quick, remember, the most you can buy in I bonds is $10,000 per person per year. Okay, now we're getting close. We're at the end of the year, so we're knocking on 2023's door. Can get a little creative there if you're looking to buy more. Keep in mind, this is not a recommendation to go out there and just run and buy I bonds. Just something I thought I'd educate everyone on, keep you up to date. You know, if you think you're interested in that, reach out to Lance and I. We'd be glad to take a peek and see if it makes sense for you. But by no means is just, go out there and get this. This is not what this is about. Just want to keep you updated. So, another piece that I want to stress is these are illiquid. You cannot sell this for at least 12 months. Okay, 1 year you have to own this. If you do sell it after 1 year, there's a penalty. It's not a principal penalty. It's just an interest penalty. So if you sell it after 12 months, it's like you got 9 months of interest. Okay, if you sell it after 15 months, it's like you got a full year of interest. Okay, but your principal will not go down. Now, if you own it longer than 5 years, which I think is a stretch, but to be determined. But if you do own it for longer than 5 years and you sell it, there's no penalty at all. Okay. So what's the big deal right now? The interest rate has updated effective November 1st. First things first, there's now a fixed rate. The fixed rate, if you buy bonds in the next 6 months, is 0.4% per year. That is fixed. That does not change. That will stay the same for as long as you own the bond. Not that great, but the reason we're here is the inflation rate that is updated, and that changes every 6 months. It changes May 1st of each year and November 1st of each year. The old interest rate from May through November of this year was 9.62%, which is pretty darn good. That's updated now just the other day, and it's gone down, and it went to 6.89, which is still very, very good for a federally backed bond. Okay, so I think that's a big deal too to think about. Is inflation is actually coming down, even though we might not feel it when we're out shopping. It is coming down slowly, and I think the proof is in the pudding here, seeing that the rate went from 9.62 to 6.89. So that 6.89% that is now the current rate is valid or effective for the next 6 months through April 30th of 2023. All right. One of the questions that we get asked a lot is, well, what if I didn't buy it right when the interest rate changed? What if I buy it somewhere in the middle? It's a great question. You will get that rate for the full 6 months, no matter when you buy it. Okay, as long as you buy it before April 30th of next year. And I'm going to kind of switch to the other side here. Interest rate changes depend on when we issue the bond or when you purchase the bond. For example, if you buy the bond, if you bought it back in September, your 6-month window is March 1st through September 1st. When the rate changes in that period, the rate change would happen in May. You would then get that new May rate at the end of that timeline, or at starting September 1st. So, for example, right now we're getting towards the end of the year, and 2023 is coming up. If you bought $10,000 worth of bonds today and maxed out, you're locked in at 6.89% for the next 6 months, okay, until the rate changes again May 1st. But if you buy another $10,000 worth come January 1st into the new calendar year, which you're allowed to do, both those sets of bonds are at the 6.89%, but for their own 6-month window. So the ones you bought in January, that rate would be effective through July 1st, end of June, and then July 1st, you would get the new rate that was published in May. So that's a lot of info. I hope I made that clear, but it's probably clear as mud. Call us with questions. We'd be glad to look and see if this makes sense for you. I think the big piece here is in that I kind of covered the one example here. But I think the big thing that people are looking at is if you bought bonds earlier this year and you got the 9.62% rate, and now you're still holding them at the new 6.89% rate, when we blend those together, you get an interest rate of 8.25%. Okay? But if you sell after 12 months and you get that 3-month penalty, it drops that down to 6.2%. Okay? Which I think is still fantastic. So, a lot of info. Call us. Remember, this is bond. I bond. Sorry. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a very happy Thanksgiving. I can't believe we're in the holiday season. So happy Thanksgiving to you all if we don't put another video out by then. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you all soon.